Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. I wanted to mention real quick that I do have a weekly real estate newsletter that I noticed people have been really loving receiving and commenting on. So I wanted to let you know if you did want to receive that weekly newsletter. It's got community events as well as market updates. Just let me know. Send me a DM and I'll get you added to that. Back to the podcast, though. I am here today with Julia Marble. She is one of the owners of Bell Farm Collective. She is the owner of Bell Farm Collective, which is a barn boutique and gift shop in Petaluma featuring dozens of local artisans. You know I love shops that feature people that work in our community. She is also the event manager at her family's wedding and event venue, Flying Cloud Farm, where the shop is located. She's a bachelor's degree in business administration, a certificate in sales management, and a professional background in sales and events. Julia also hosts a community of events such as artist-led workshops, local artisan markets, free toddler play mornings, and more. She's a mom of a young child and has found a passion for supporting other mom entrepreneurs and women in Sonoma County. And I am so excited to have her here today. Welcome, Julia. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks so much for having me.
That reminds me, when I'm looking at your bio, I see all your posts about your events, and especially the mom one. So I'm looking forward to kind of hearing about more of those as we talk today.
They're so fun.
So fun.
So
I
fun.
see how much work you put into it, and they look so cute and creative, and I love it. So can you, to start, tell us more about the inspiration behind Bell Farm Collective and how it all started?
Yeah, so it was actually a COVID creation for me. So I got laid off in March of 2020, like a lot of people did. And I had just actually gotten back from maternity leave. So it was kind of a blessing at the time because it was like an extended leave for me. So at the time, I just was, cherishing having some more time at home with my son. And then as time went on and, we weren't going back to work, I started looking at some other options. But what actually started the store was, like you said, I managed the events at my family's wedding and event venue. And we had our whole back room of all the event accumulated decor and all this stuff that I said, okay, well, let's clear some of this out and kind of get a good foot forward for when events come back. So I kind of played shop at the event center and did, virtual shopping appointments, and I had people come in person, and I just set up kind of a shop of event decorations. And it was really fun. It was like playing store, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're getting stuff cleared out. And then we kind of went back to what my parents and I've always said, it would be really fun to have a little gift shop on the property, like a lot of wineries have. They have this little gift shop. And so we had been kind of toying with that idea for years about how fun that would be. And then when we thought events were coming back, it didn't. But when we did, we had to kind of get the event center back together. So we're looking at another spot to have some sort of gift shop. I still don't know what that would look like, but that idea kind of started from there. And then we were an equestrian facility for a long time, boarding and training for 25 years. And we didn't have a trainer or boarders anymore. So we had a barn that was vacant.
Wow.
And I turned the tack room into what is now the gift shop.
Wow.
So I first started, I kind of moved that operation up there and was still kind of clearing some stuff out. But then I started making stuff and selling it and posting it on Instagram. And then really quickly, I found how many people were making things and selling them during COVID. They needed that creative outlet. They just, wanted something different. They weren't working, whatever it was. So because of social media, I basically blew up with being able to sell other people's locally made stuff during that time. And that first year was really, really good for me. And I was lucky I didn't have to go back to work after that because everyone had stimulus checks. Everyone was home. They wanted safe shopping. I was doing deliveries.
That's incredible.
It just worked out during that time frame. It really worked and gave me a big boost and kind of got my name out there that first year. So I was able to kind of keep it going. So that's kind of how that started.
That is amazing. It's so cool to hear the story too of how you turned something around in that way and made it work for you. But also, I feel like just from the little that I know you're a very creative person, and I feel like that probably really fuels your soul.
It does. I didn't realize how much I was missing that part of it, being able to kind of curate things and and do, displays and stuff like that, it really did fuel me. And so I think it was a good combination, especially with everything going on that time. It was so scary. And I had my son was so young. I was so paranoid about everything. So it did give me, I felt good doing it. And then it was just really nice to meet so many people that way too.
Amazing.
It kind of built a little bit of a community when everything was, obviously not very community focused at the time. So
for sure. That's such a good point. You were still able to make those connections during a time when everybody really needed it, and they were able to connect with you.
Yeah.
It's funny, right before we started recording, I mentioned that's how I got to know you and start following your page, is my best friend Lindsay with Bear River Boutique sells at the barn.
Does.
So
yeah,
she's so talented.
She's so talented.
Amazes
yeah,
me.
She her macrame is so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And she makes this wave one that's hand dipped.
Yes.
People love that. Rainbows and
Yes.
all sorts of fun stuff. All the planters. A lot of people were
I've
getting
got some
house
hanging
plants
planters.
during that
from
time.
Lindsay.
I sold a lot of those during that first
and
year.
ornaments.
Yep.
Yeah, she's very talented. So I love that that's how I'm connected to you, is kind of that whole full circle. So
Totally.
And you've been doing gift baskets for my clients this year, which I've been so appreciative of. You do such an amazing job.
Yeah, those kind of, I don't even know how that one even started, to be honest.
I don't know either. I saw your post and I'm like, me.
Yeah, I don't even remember the first time that I made one, but it started pretty early.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to send a family friend a collection of items, and I was like, instead of just packing it up, why don't I add some little decoration to it and kind of curate it? And then I was like, wait, this is really fun. Like you said, I get to be creative with those.
Sure.
So then I had some other people see that, oh, can you make that for me too?
Cool.
And then, that has been the biggest thing this past year was the gift baskets.
You do such a good job at it. And I love, for me, I tend to, I love giving client gifts. I love it. And so for me, it's helpful because it does keep me on budget. Because I tell you my budget and I don't just walk in and go crazy.
It just works well because I usually get, give me a price range you're looking at. Tell me a little bit about the client. It's not a lot of work for you, but for me, it gives me a really good starting place.
That's so
and then I can see, what's going to fit well together. Because that's another thing I had to figure out too is if you have a really large item and a really small item, it's not going to balance.
Totally.
Well. So it gives you a chance not to have to go and source all that and make it look presented.
Make it look pretty.
Exactly.
You do such a good job of
Thank
that. How did you come up with the name?
So the name Belle is my maiden name.
Oh.
Yeah. So my dad had two girls. So his name is James Walter. Before him was Walter James for 3 generations.
Wow.
So there's been a lot of names passed down. Belle has been in the family for a really long time, and it's not going to be passed on anymore. So I wanted to incorporate that. And then Farm, Flying Cloud Farm. I also wanted people to kind of know when they're coming to shop that they're coming to a barn boutique. It's not like a downtown location. It's in the country, and I wanted people to, that's what people love, but I also wanted that to be included. And then obviously collective, I have a collection of a bunch of different artisans, so I want people to kind of get the idea from the name.
I love that. And I love that the name, Belle, can be passed on. That's kind of your legacy still being passed on. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Can you share some of the unique and noteworthy products or artisans that are featured at your shop?
Oh, there's so many. I think that's what's so cool is when I look around the shop, I can see the people behind each of the products. I do fill with other areas that I don't have somebody local. Sometimes I'll source somebody from, I have somebody from Chico or, a little further out, but 80%, 90% of the products are locally made. So, I have so many different kinds. I have a really great woodworker that makes these amazing charcuterie boards. Those are super popular. Wow. I have McAvoy olive oil and honey. I have Marita Family Farms. I have a bunch of their products. Like they do bay leaves and they do handmade soaps, and they're 5th generation dairy farmers in Petaluma. I have Water and Stone Sonoma makes so many amazing products, but she does a lot of candles and bath salts and essential oil car fresheners. And so, it's everything from kind of home goods and bath and body products, candles, accessories, some clothing. So amazing. A little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you say Chico too, I was thinking about my other best friend that makes earrings that I need to connect you with. She's amazing. But I love that you feature so many different kinds of products from local artisans too.
It's fun because, I mean, the gift baskets, a lot of them are home focused or self-care. Those are kind of the two that most people want. But then when people come into the shop, they kind of like the boutique experience of like trying on a cute jacket or getting a new purse or, you know, like they like to kind of shop more on that side. So I have actually two kind of sides of the store. One is more home kid focused and then one is more self-care and boutique kind of focus.
I forgot about the boutique side that you'd mentioned. I've seen all your posts with all your bags, like you modeling the bags.
They're so
good. Such cute bags. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get over there, or maybe I shouldn't.
And the jackets, like whenever I have a bunch of ladies come through, like 3 of them will get the same thing, and then it's their matching jacket. It's so cute. I just love
that.
it.
The relationships you
make.
The
relationships,
That's so great. How do you go about selecting these people? Do you have a lot of people coming to you? Do you do a lot of reach outs?
Both. When I first started, I had a lot of people reach out, and then I felt very comfortable kind of just reaching out to whoever I liked their stuff and to kind of get that base going. And then I do get a lot of people that are interested in selling, so I have an application that I send to people, and then I keep that on file, and whenever I have kind of an opening, I like people to have their own kind of spot in the store. I don't like to have too many of the same things with kind of competing people unless they're different enough.
That's
if
a good
too
idea.
Similar, I don't feel like it's kind of fair to, or it doesn't really make sense for me either because I don't have a ton of space.
Right.
So I am kind of looking at that as a whole, and then obviously what fits, what people I know people are looking for in the store. It kind of fits the vibe, and then what people are asking for too, because sometimes people will be like, oh, do you have this? I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. So if I get a couple people asking, it's usually something that I'll start looking into to see if I can source it.
Right.
So it's just whatever kind of and then price point too. I don't want it to be too expensive that I'm going to sit on things for a long time because I don't have a lot of space. So I want to make it, accessible for people to be able to actually purchase, and I can move through some product too. So
do a lot of people shop at your events?
They do. So that's kind of been primarily my focus this last couple of years when events have come back, since I do manage events at the event center too, is that I am pretty much open for special events. So I do private events there too, like birthdays and baby showers and some small intimate events, kind of up to 25 people. So people definitely shop during those. They're there for a few hours. So it's nice to have the shop open, but then for those community events too. Like the sip and paints, we usually include a shopping credit. And so any of those kind of artist-led workshops, a lot of them do include a small shopping credit. And then the Mom and Me events, like those are free to attend. So people are usually, getting
excited
a cup of coffee and then get some, like they get to go for free and have their kids play. So it gives them a chance to kind of shop around. So
I'm picturing that like gingerbread house you did, by the way. Out of the play
that was really fun. That was my one goal for our Christmas party this year.
That's incredible. Does it still look like a gingerbread house? You're going to keep it that way?
Yeah. So I found, I knew I wanted to make a kid's playhouse into a gingerbread house. So I found one on Facebook Marketplace, painted it all, added some, I did like spray foam for the snow and added some kids, the balls from the ball pit on the top and a garland. And
cute.
The kids loved it. We do a Christmas party every year. And so I was like, it's a gingerbread competition. We do with our friends and family. So that one's going to be staying at the store.
Perfect. You are so creative. That's incredible. What is your vision for these community events? I feel like you do a lot of this and it really does give back to the community.
That has been something that I've become very passionate about, is just that community building aspect of it. It's something I feel like I didn't have before. I feel like I've been able to connect a lot of people without me even knowing it. Sometimes, people like, oh, at the last mom event, I met actually someone that lives like five houses down from me. And now we get together for coffee and our kids play. And I'm like,
that is
just
so cool.
one relationship like that is huge. Cause as a mom, like before you have that connection, it's like, you feel like you're losing your mind a little bit. You need someone to relate to, someone that has kids the same age.
For sure.
Somebody like building a little bit of a village is kind of what I want to be able to do with these events, is just have it's very overwhelming. And so having just a place where you can go and feel comfortable, like to let your kids play and meet other moms and that's my goal with that specific event. But women in general and women entrepreneurs, I want to do a lot more of that this year. So, because also starting a business, I didn't really know. I mean, my parents have theirs, but I didn't really know what I was doing.
Right.
So it's like figure it out as you go. So
Right.
again, if there's a place where you could just get people together to talk, you can learn so much.
That is so cool.
I'm just trying to, because I have the space for it, I want to be able to bring people together and make it accessible for people so we can just do some more stuff in our community, especially a lot of people have had to go back to work. And I want to give people, if they have an idea or they want to do something, like give a space to just get together with people and figure it out.
That is so special that you're providing that and that you're recognizing that that's so needed.
It's
and
so
that you
needed.
have the memories of this too is so special.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they still have it, but the Petaluma Mothers Club used to have a moms and business group. And I wonder if you could do some cool seminars
I have
with
talked
them.
with them
Yeah.
at the last mom event. I actually connected with someone. So I have some things this year is kind of building those connections and seeing what we can create from it. It usually stems from meeting one person. They're on board with the same idea I'm on board with, and then we make it happen, and then we see where it goes. So, I definitely want to do some stuff with some of those mom groups for sure.
That's amazing. So operating a boutique business and an event space, you're doing both, and that's got to have its challenges. What are some of the most rewarding and challenging parts of running Bell Farm Collective? Obviously, rewarding too. We were just talking about the relationships, but anything else, and then also the challenges. Yeah,
rewarding has got to be the people that I've met from it, and then just feeling like I'm providing a good service for people. Like the gift baskets makes me feel good because I feel like that is something that is beneficial to people. Like it's easy for people to order. It's fun for me to create, and I feel like it's giving something good for people, especially if they're new to Sonoma County. So I feel good about the stuff that I am providing and supporting the local artisans, and that is all very rewarding. Is all the people aspect of it. Obviously, the challenging side is event wise, if somebody books something, you have to pay for all the upkeep and everything, but there's no product costs. Product costs are hard.
Right.
And you want to support, obviously, the local artisans and give them a good cost. And so, the overhead costs and all of that can be a lot sometimes. I am very lucky because I am doing it at my family's venue. I don't have as many overhead costs as a lot of people do. Costs obviously are always the biggest struggle, but other than that, you figure it out. So
that must be hard to figure out the costs from the beginning when you're first getting started too, is how much you're going to be paying for these products. Did a lot of people come to you with a price in mind, or did you have to
they do. And I do
of
I have consignment and wholesale options too. So I do both. I figured it's all been kind of learn as you go type thing. If there's somebody that I really want to work with that I think would be a really good fit, we figure it out. So I'm always working with people, but we do have kind of set costs for wholesale versus consignment typically, especially if we're trying out new products. I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe they want to display a bunch of items and I'm not like committed to, buying a whole bunch of stuff. So we go consignment route until we see what sells well. So
that makes sense.
That's been kind of my way around trying to make it too crazy with the costs.
That's a really smart way to go. So you can kind of test it out.
Test it out a little bit first.
We call that like a coming soon in real estate.
Exactly.
So what are some of the upcoming events or any new developments at Bell Farm Collective? Is there anything you want to share with us?
So the upcoming events we have in February, I haven't announced the dates yet, but in February, we're going to have another mom meetup, kids play morning. So I'm looking at doing that. I think it's February 9th. We usually do it like 10 a.m., 10 to 12 or so. And that'll be kind of a Valentine's Day theme. So you can make some little, Valentine's Day cards. And I usually have Crafted Cup do their coffee trailer, which is like what the moms are coming for. So that's coming up. And then in April, we're going to have another sip and paint with Art Excursion. Great. She does some really cute themed sip and paint. So we're looking at a fun one for that. I have I partner with Soko Boss Babes, which is also a great organization for supporting local women entrepreneurs. Great. And they're doing a shopping event in March. I have actually this month we have a women's wellness day happening at the end of the month. So I'm going to be posting about that today.
Awesome.
So a lot of little things popping up in the next couple months. And the best way to find out is usually either on social media. I'll post about things on my website at bellfarmcollective.com or on my website. You can also sign up for the mailing list too. So that'll get you all the upcoming stuff.
Great. That's super helpful. Is there anything else you want us to know about Bell Farm Collective?
I think those are the main things. Is kind of how it started, what is being sold there, the gift baskets, the events. Those are kind of the main things happening at the shop right now.
That's incredible. Coming off of business a little bit, what are 3 fun facts about you personally?
3 fun facts. One, I grew up competitive equestrian vaulting.
Wow.
It's a very, very small sport in the U.S., but it's a sport that was happening at our barn since before I was born. So it's like gymnastics and dance on a moving horse.
Wow.
Most people haven't seen it, but if you Google equestrian vaulting, you can see photos of it. It's either one person at a time or up to 3. You can do, team stuff. So I grew up doing that until I was in high school. We would do regional and national competitions. So all summer we would be practicing for that. So that kind of was my whole life growing up was vaulting. Some other fun facts. I met my husband when I was 16. So we've been together 14 years now.
That's amazing.
So we met pretty young, and I feel very lucky to have met him at such a young age. We've been kind of growing up together. So that's been really cool.
Special.
Really special. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then besides that, I love to bake and travel and just kind of, I'm always very spontaneous with stuff too. Great. I feel like my husband's always like the realist, like, hey, this is, he's got everything all mapped out on, and I'm like, let's just go away for, I'm very spontaneous.
I'm a mix of both of you, but I definitely tend to be like very decisive and like, let's just do
let's
this.
Just do it.
Like, it'll all be fine.
Yeah. And when I have stuff coming up, like I'm like, okay, when I got my dates blocked out, I am like, I've got a huge calendar system. Right. I got everything mapped out. I know the dates that I have stuff happening, but if I have a free day, I'm like, let's go. How far can we go in one day?
My mom was just planning like a big trip with me and my sister, and she's like, I'm thinking like spring, May 2026. I'm like, we could just do this year. Like, let's just do this year.
March.
Like, exactly. Yeah. So I tend to be like that too. I'm like, yes, we can definitely make that happen.
A good mix is both.
Gotta
plan stuff out, but
you also gotta live a little,
for
sure. Towards the end of each episode, I like to ask, is there anyone that's really helped you in your career that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, obviously my parents for sure, like growing up working events with them gave me a really good foundation on, working hard and then obviously just learning the event business that way. I feel like it's like in my blood. Yeah. So luckily, that's kind of how I grew up, and it kind of worked its way into what I'm doing now. And they also were like very, very supportive when I decided what I wanted to do. They kind of jumped right on board. So amazing. I'm very, very lucky for that. And then also just business wise, I connected with Allie from Picnic Potential pretty early on. We actually started our businesses the same month. We didn't realize that till later on. But when I first met her, she was just looking for locations to do picnics. And it was, again, during COVID. We couldn't host any events for about a year, but we could do picnics because it was single family groups. It was outside. Amazing. So that was the only thing event wise we were able to do. And we just clicked right away. She's a very ideas person. So we just like feed off each other's energy of all the things that we could do. So she brought a lot of business to us for picnics that first year. And then when I started doing them at my shop, she was very supportive. We've done events together since then, bridal showers, all sorts of stuff. And she's the first one to promote me, and I love to support her. So that was a really great, friend and connection that I made. And she's been so supportive of my business.
I need to have her on here. Yeah, she's amazing. Great. She did my daughter's 10th birthday,
and
we just did it in the backyard, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, she wants to go over and above for people. She's just so great and like has such a great personality, and she always has ideas for things too, and gets excited about your event too. So
for sure, and so detailed.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous work. Before we sign off, I just wanted to see, like, can you remind everybody your website, your social media handle, and also where in Petaluma you're located?
Yes. So everything is at Bell Farm Collective. So my website's bellfarmcollective.com. On Instagram and Facebook, it's both at Bell Farm Collective. Again, my mailing list is on my website too, so you can sign up for that.
Great.
On that first page of the website. And then located at Flying Cloud Farm in Petaluma. So it's in the Petaluma Pengrove area, just a mile off Adobe Road. And then Flying Cloud is my family's wedding and event venue. So we do larger events, kind of over 25 people typically there. And then you can also follow online at Flying Cloud Farm if you want to see the Instagram or Facebook for that one as well.
Great. I don't think I follow them. I need to follow you on that page too.
I try to post a bunch of, I need to catch up on the last couple months, but I try to post something from each of the events too. So it's a really good way to see kind of the past events that we've had.
I need to follow you. Real quick, you have limited hours too, right? Can you share what the hours are so people can't just go out to the barn and shop, right?
No, I mean, you can always, I tell people my number is on my website. So if you want to text me, if you're in the area, I'm usually around. I'm just not sitting at my shop.
Right.
So it's open by appointment right now. For the holiday season, I did open hours when I call it. So whenever I have open hours, I'll post it. I'll pin it to the top of my Instagram and Facebook and then put it on my website.
Perfect.
So because it's a slower time, I'm just back to appointment and open for special events. So if you want to come to one of those mom meetups, I'm open for that, or any of those other events that I have. And then when I do open hours, it's a lot of times like 11 to 3 on Saturdays and Sundays. And then I did some weekdays, during December too. So you can always check on my socials. And then, like I said, if you're in the area, you have a day and you want to just text me and see if I'm there, I'm always available to stop in and show people the venue.
That's amazing. When you said a mailing list a few minutes ago, I realized I have like a $5 credit, I think, for my birthday, so I need to come in.
Yes. Yeah. We do,
I forgot I have that
the
email sitting there.
Too.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I've got that sitting in my inbox right now, so I need to come in. Well, thank you so much for coming today. It was so great to have you in here.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you, and thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.